honestly, as time goes on, I'm starting to think that phones are the problem.
Yes.
It really is the phone. It is like the...
Even if you had all your political goals, you got all the immigrants out, you closed the borders, and you had a good roaring economy, it's like you still are left with this technological machine that is isolating people, turning people into freaks, affirming any weird identity they want through their Discord servers, pulling them away from real-world community. There's some good shit about life and the wilderness of life that I actually miss and I actually want. I miss my friend group. I think that's partially why people go back to church as well, because they want that community. I miss the community. What happened to the kids outside playing? What happened to the trick-or-treaters? They're gone. They're all inside playing Fortnite. Or they're not even here to begin with because nobody's having kids anymore. Or they got aborted. I don't even know because they're too much of a hassle, too much work.
There is this parallel universe of propped up, all-American storybook-going characters to gaslight actual Americans into thinking the old idea was still possible. Expecting traditional, pre-internet connections in modernity is wild.
Yes. Okay. That is a good point. And I've railed on this shit too. Even the DHS or FBI, I don't even remember who it was who was posting, but they're posting stuff. ICE maybe they're posting these like, remember we want to take back America and make it the old America again. And it's like pictures of like the 1980s or the 1950s or some shit. And I've totally been like, this is just such a poisoning mentality to have. To sit there and constantly compare your life and your situation. And I'm not saying that things are better than they were back then. Clearly, but what I'm saying is you're constantly looking at things back then and how things were, how things used to be. And it's a hindrance for people because every move they make is based on that image that no longer exists. The avenues that they take, the opportunities that arise for them in current day, because there still are opportunities right now. As Black Pill does like talk, there still are some opportunities. I talk about this channel, making this channel. This is an opportunity that's new, that has not been around for longer than 10, 15 years. That's an opportunity. Try and take it. Crypto, that's an opportunity. Try and take it. These new inventions that come out that maybe offer ways of improvement, ways of moving up in life, moving towards your goals. Those are good. Those are available. They do still exist. But if you're constantly thinking about, well, I need my 1950s trad life, I need my one income household and my 4 children. It's like, look, that sucks that doesn't exist anymore. That was great. That was even better. But this constant, like the image of it gets just stuck in people's minds to where they just have no ability to expand into avenues that are present today that weren't back then.
I'm honestly, as time goes on, I'm starting to think that phones are the problem.
Yes.
It really is the phone. It is like
He's starting to think that?
ubiquitous, and yet nobody talks about it or rarely talks about it, but the phone is the biggest.
The phone.
It's just killing us.
We
just can't have normal human relations anymore because of phones, because of texting and calling and social media. And now the phones are even worse. It was bad before. And now between AI and the short form video content, it's worse than ever.
Yeah, you ever see like the clip of the guy like the stock trader from like the 80s or 90s who's got 2 phones and he's just constantly bombarded by texts and calls and he's got his Rolodex and he's constantly making trades and that's like what everybody's like now. Everybody's like that all the time now with their phone and the content and the scrolling and the texts and the Snapchats and whatever. The TikToks, it's like everybody's in that mindset of like go, 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 go. A lot of it's just popcorn chicken. It's just bullshit. It's like bullshit, go, go, go. It's not like it's not like you're actually working towards anything and actually improving your life. And that's why you're on the go. That's why you're going here. That's why you're doing that. It's like everybody's just got this mentality of like their brain's always on and it's at 100 miles an hour because of the nonstop feed and the nonstop messaging and calling. But it ultimately results in you're stagnant. And he's right. It makes regular communication almost impossible. We talked about the Gen Z stare. The Gen Z stare is a real thing because you have an outlet. You have an outlet of entertainment. You have an outlet that you don't need to talk to the person. You don't need to interact with the people in front of you and learn social niceties and how to make conversation. You don't need that because I can just sit there on my phone and go. And everybody's doing that, right? Everybody's doing that.
It was bad enough when you had TV. Then you had like texting and Facebook and YouTube. Now you've got TikTok and ChatGPT, and it's just so bad. And it's really like, how do you even have a human connection with anybody? it seems impossible. So it's not good. That may be the biggest problem of them
It's
all.
not good.
Even if you had all the minorities out, you still don't have a social fabric.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's a good point, too.
There's something deeply sad and hollow about, the way the world works now.
Yes, no, that's a good point, too, is that even if I feel like because people are totally overlooking the technology aspect, even if you had all your political goals, you got all the immigrants out, you closed the borders, and you had a good roaring economy, it's like you still are left with this technological machine that is isolating people, turning people into freaks, affirming any weird identity they want through their Discord servers, pulling them away from real world community. These outlets, these technologies have created these outlets, these things that are not quite the thing. And I think that's what we're feeling. We're not actually getting the real thing, but it's close enough to where, and it's safe enough, right? That's the big thing. It's close enough and it's safe enough to where I don't have to go out there and risk rejection. I don't have to go out there and risk social, faux pas. I can just make do with my Discord server. But now, even increasingly, I can make do with my chatbot, right? My AI chatbot. And I think that that's not, a lot of these technologies, specifically the chatbots, they just reflect what you're already saying. They just reflect and tell you what you want to hear. And that's not conducive to a good culture or society. It's not going to breed anything. It's just narcissism, right? Isn't it a narcissist, right? He's looking into the water at his own reflection, and he can't, it's like, what are you going to be doing? What's he going to be doing? He's not going to be creating anything. He's not going to be making anything of value. There's going to be no culture, even if, the political things that people talk about, not that they're not important, but this kind of utopian idea people have in their minds. It's like, oh, if we just do this one thing, it's going to be my 1950s trad wife, and I'm going to be, and it's like, no, I don't think that's actually going to happen. I think that our culture is absolutely, like he said, hollowed out. Culture kind of requires pressures, right? It requires external pressures to actually breed. It requires fate. It requires chance. It requires kind of the chaos of life in order to actually breed an authentic, organic culture. And you're kind of doing this with the people around you, and you're making do with the people around you. You're creating a society, you're creating culture, and making through these kind of hard times, these hardships. And from those hardships, that's what breeds connection. That's what breeds art. That's what breeds philosophy. That's what breeds these things, right? And it's like, if we live in this super safe, super clinical, super sterile society, that technology, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. If you don't have to take a risk, like there really is nothing of value there. It's all just stagnant. I don't know. There's something about that is deeply hollow, like he's saying. It's like taking the chaos of life, the negatives, and transforming it into positive traditions, positive community. And if your whole society is controlled and isolated, like, I don't think you're going to get that. People can get flip phones without the internet. I think I'm about to do that. I actually think I have a flip phone somewhere in a drawer that I need to bust out. I think I might actually do that. That is one thing I think people maybe should be doing. Maybe you can't get completely away from the internet and the controlled technocracy, but maybe you could take small steps individually. Our culture has rapidly generated into an environment that on its own does not allow for avoiding habitual sin. Right. It's sin, but it's completely devoid of morality. It's like, it's just ease. It's just ease of access. It's like unbridled gluttony. The pressures of life, the natural pressures of life, that's where you get the new ideas. When your back's up against the wall and it pressurizes a piece of coal into a diamond, right? It kind of contorts it and conforms it into something new, and an expression of something new based on the circumstances of life, of fate. But we don't have these things anymore. Everybody wants everything to be a for sure thing all the time. Everybody wants everything to be optimized. That's why I never understood Peter Thiel saying, well, we're living in a stagnant time and we need to break through. I don't think more technology is going to help us in that front. I think it's just going to cause us to be distracted even more, cause us to live more safe lives. And that's that. I don't think we're going to actually have any new culture doesn't exist in America anymore. Everything is just renditions of years past. It messes with your relationships with God, others, and makes silence almost impossible, but God speaks in the silence. Yes, absolutely. People don't want the silence. I think that's a big part. People don't want the silence. They want the noise, the constant. I mean, have you ever gone over to anybody's house and they leave the TV on the whole time. This has happened to me so many times where they leave the ads going, full volume ads, the commercials. I'm like, can we mute this shit? No. We cannot have a moment's thought. We cannot have silence ever. We always have to have something on because we cannot be alone with our mortality. We cannot be alone with our own thoughts. We cannot allow God in. We have to keep the noise up. We have to be drinking all the time. We have to be fidgeting. We have to have our TikTok on. We have to be brain rotting, goon maxing, jester maxing, if you will, because we don't want to come to terms that maybe what we're doing is wrong. Yeah, I don't know, something to that. I always mute. Yeah, I always mute that shit. Inceldom and social atomization is literally just because social media. Yeah, and I think trans identity is as well. There was that famous 4chan post where, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, your teenager comes up to you and says, I want to be a toaster. And your dad smacks him on the back of the head and says, you're an idiot. You're not a toaster. You're a boy. Now we got work to do. Okay. But now you say, I'm a toaster. And guess what? You can get online, get in your Discord group. And there's 1,000 people who are affirming the same toaster fetish. Yay! Yay! We're all toasters now. Yay! I'm a girl. Yay! I'm a furry. Okay. This is the thing, inceldom, social atomization. This is what people have wrongfully longed for. A lot of it's mostly American, I think, but it's to minimize risk and to minimize negative feelings and to minimize hardship. We want to move away from people. We want to atomize ourselves. We want technology to bridge the gap to the just enough, almost, but not quite the thing, but almost enough, because I don't want to have to deal with my family. I don't want to have to deal with my neighbors. I don't want to have to deal with the scary social situations at church or at school or whatever. So I'm going to do online school, and I'm going to interact with my chat bot, and I'm going to watch my pornography, and I'm going to do online work. I don't even know, some work from home thing, because I don't want to have to deal with the potential risks of going out there into the wilderness because it's scary. It's icky. And it's like, that's what we want. We want the ease. We want to be liberated. There's this liberation philosophy of liberating us from our humanity. We're liberating us from our work. Women are liberating themselves from childbirth. We're liberating ourselves from having to cook, clean, any of this stuff. And it's coming to a tipping point. It's coming to a tipping point. I think people are starting to smell it. They're like, wait a minute, there's some good shit about life and the wilderness of life that I actually miss and I actually want. I miss my friend group. I think that's partially why people go back to church as well, because they want that community. I miss the community. What happened to the kids outside playing? What happened to the trick-or-treaters? They're gone. They're all inside playing Fortnite. Or they're not even here to begin with because nobody's having kids anymore. Or they got aborted. I don't even know, because they're too much of a hassle, too much work. And I think ultimately we're getting to that point where we're going to push even further, and we're going to see the phone integrated in our bodies. We're going to see transhumanism. I think in our lifetime, we're going to start to see this. I think we're already sort of seeing soft transhumanism right now with bodily augmentation, clavicular types. We're already seeing that. And I think ultimately the next step is transhumanism to rid us from the last stage, which is our mortality. That's the final stage. That's the final icky. I don't want to deal with the unknown. I don't want to deal with oblivion. Ew. Gross. Miss me with that shit.